Good afternoon. The Senate will come to order. The Secretary will call the roll.
Senator Brooks, Senator Buck, Senator Canizaro, Senator Dennis, Senator Doniate, Senator Dondero-Loop, Senator Gokachia, Senator Hammond, Senator Hansen, Senator Hardy, Senator Harris, Senator Kiekeffer, Senator Lang, Senator Neal, Senator Orenshaw, Senator Pickard, Senator Ratty, Senator Scheibel, Senator Severs-Gansert, Senator Settlemeyer, Senator Spearman. Senator Spearman.
Here.
Thank you. Let the record reflect there are 21 senators present. Please rise for the prayer and invocation by Pastor Louis Locke of Carson City Foursquare Church.
Thank you, Madam President. Let's pray. How precious is your steadfast love, O God. Your mercies are new every morning. Lord, help us be people who love others as you love us. Help us be people who forgive others as you forgive us. We pray for your grace in the healing of the many things that divide our nation in these days. We pray that your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. May we walk worthy of all that we have been called to do in serving the people of Nevada. May we do it well and do it with all of our heart, bringing glory to you. May we also be a blessing to those we serve. May the words we speak and the thoughts of our hearts be acceptable to you, O God, our rock and our Redeemer. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Order of business number 3, reading and approval of the journal. By previous order of the Senate, the reading of the journal is dispensed with, and the President and Secretary are authorized to make the necessary corrections and additions. Order of business number 4, reports of committee.
Madam President, your Committee on Commerce and Labor, to which referred Senate Bills numbers 247 has had the same under consideration. Begs to report same back with the recommendation amended to pass as amended. Signed, Senator Dina Neal, Vice Chair. Madam President, your Committee on Education, to which was referred Senate Bill number 66 has the same under consideration. Begs to report the same back with the recommendation amended to pass as amended. Signed, Senator Mo Dennis, Chair. Madam President, your Committee on Government Affairs, to which was referred Senate Bill number 109 has the same under consideration. Begs to report the same back with the recommendation amended to pass as amended. Signed, Senator Marilyn Dondero-Loop, Chair. Madam President, your Committee on Growth and Infrastructure, to which was referred Senate Bill number 371 has the same under consideration. Begs leave to report the same back with the recommendation amended to pass as amended. Signed, Senator Dallas Harris, Chair. Madam President, your Committee on Health and Human Services, to which was referred Assembly Bill number 16 has the same under consideration. Begs leave to report the same back with the recommendation to pass. Also, your Committee on Health and Human Services, to which were referred Senate Bills numbers 569, 156, 175 has had the same under consideration. Begs leave to report the same back with the recommendation amended to pass as amended. Also, your Committee on Health and Human Services, to which was referred Senate Concurrent Resolution number 5 has had the same under consideration. Begs leave to report the same back with the recommendation be adopted. Signed, Senator Julia Ratty, Chair. Madam President, your Committee on Judiciary, to which were referred Senate Bills numbers 1971, 95, 108 has had the same under consideration. Begs leave to report the same back with the recommendation amended to pass as amended. Signed, Senator Melanie Scheibel, Chair. Madam President, your Committee on Natural Resources, to which was referred Senate Bill number 344 has the same under consideration. Begs leave to report the same back with the recommendation amended to pass as amended. Signed, Senator Fabian Doniate, Chair. End of reports.
Thank you. Order of business number 6, messages from the Assembly.
Assembly Chamber, Carson City, April 13th, 2021. To the Honorable Senate, I have the honor to inform you all about the Assembly on this day passed a variety of Assembly bills and passed as amended in a variety of Senate bills and Assembly bills and Assembly joint resolutions that are listed on the agenda for today. Signed, Carol Ayala Sala, Assistant Chief Clerk of the Assembly. End of messages.
Thank you. Order of business number 8, waivers and exemptions.
Notice of exemption, April 14, 2021. The Fiscal Analysis Division, pursuant to Joint Standing Rule 14.6, has determined the eligibility for exemption of Senate Bill number 24. Signed, Wayne Thorley, Fiscal Analysis Division. End of notices.
Thank you. Order of business number 9, motions, resolutions, and notices.
Assembly Joint Resolution number 1, introduced by Assemblywoman Titus, etc., and Senator Hardy, etc. Proposed to amend the Nevada Constitution to add and revise terms relating to persons with certain conditions for whose benefit certain public institutions are supported by the state. End of resolution.
Thank you. Are there any amendments to the joint resolution as a whole?
No. These are, sorry.
Yeah, okay. I read it wrong. Yeah. Hold on, guys. I'm disorganized, but I'm getting there. All right, Senator Cannizzaro.
Thank you, Madam President. Pursuant to Senate Standing Rule Number 134-1A, I authorize Senator Spearman to use remote technology systems to attend, participate, vote, and take any other action in the proceedings of the Senate.
Thank you. Madam Secretary.
Back to referral of Senate joint resolutions. Assembly Joint Resolution Number 1, introduced by Assemblywoman Titus, et cetera, and Senators Hardy, et cetera, proposed to amend the Nevada Constitution to add and revise terms relating to persons with certain conditions for whose benefit certain public institutions are supported by the state. End of resolution.
Thank you. Senator Ratty.
Thank you, President. I move to refer AGR 1 to the Committee on Legislative Operations and Elections.
Thank you. Senator Ratty has referred AGR 1 to the Committee on Legislative Operations and Elections. Are there any objections to the referral? If not, so ordered.
Assembly Joint Resolution Number 7, introduced by Assemblywoman Bilberry, Axelrod, et cetera, and Senators Brooks, et cetera, urges Congress of the United States to pass the National Infrastructure Bank Act of 2020. End of resolution.
Thank you. Senator Ratty.
Thank you, President. I move to refer AGR 7 to the Committee on Growth and Infrastructure.
Thank you. Senator Ratty has referred AGR 7 to the Committee on Growth and Infrastructure. Are there any objections to the referral? If not, so ordered.
Assembly Joint Resolution Number 10, introduced by Assemblyman Watts, et cetera, and Senator Harris, et cetera, proposing to amend the ordinance of Nevada Constitution and the Nevada Constitution to remove language authorizing the use of slavery and involuntary servitude as a criminal punishment. End of resolution.
Thank you. Senator Ratty.
Thank you. I move to refer AGR 10 to the Committee on Legislative Operations and Elections.
Thank you. Senator Ratty has referred AGR 10 to the Committee on Legislative Operations and Elections. Are there any objections to the referral? If not, so ordered.
Senator Harris has approved the addition of Senator Spearman as the sponsor of Senate Bill 236.
Thank you. Senator Cannizzaro.
Thank you, Madam President. I move to take Senate Bill 190 from its place on general file and place it on the Secretary's desk.
Thank you. You've heard the motion. All those in favor signify by saying yea. Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
And that concludes Order of Business Number 9.
Thank you. Order of Business Number 10, Introduction, First Reading, and Reference.
Senators will be reading all of the Senate bills that are listed on your desk at once, and Senator Brooks will be making a motion to refer. Senate Bill Number 409 by Finance revises provisions relating to state governmental administration, refer to government affairs. Senate Bill 410 by Finance makes appropriation to the Central Repository for Nevada Records of Criminal History within the Records Communication and Compliance Division of the Department of Public Safety for the modernization program for the Nevada Criminal Justice Information System, refer to same. Senate Bill 411 by Finance makes appropriation Division of Parole and Probation and the Investigation Division of the Department of Public Safety for the replacement of computer hardware and software, refer to same. Senate Bill 412 by Finance makes an appropriation to the State Department of Agriculture for new laboratory equipment and maintenance contracts related to veterinary medical services, refer to same. Senate Bill 413 by Finance makes appropriation to Nevada Gaming Control Board for the continuing cost and replacement of its information system, refer to same. Senate Bill 414 by Finance makes appropriation to Department of Taxation for the continuing cost of modernization of the Unified Tax System as part of the Project Mint, refer to same. Senate Bill 415 by Finance makes appropriation to Department of Taxation for the relocation and consolidation of the 2 offices in Las Vegas Valley into 1 office in Southern Nevada, refer to same. Senate Bill 416 by Finance makes appropriation to Department of Taxation for the replacement of computer hardware and software and printers, refer to same. Senate Bill 417 by Finance makes appropriations to and authorizes expenditures of money by the Nevada Supreme Court for certain statewide technology systems for trial courts, refer to same. Senate Bill 418 by Finance makes an appropriation to the Budget Office, the Office of Finance, and the Office of the Governor for the continuation of the Nevada Executive Budget System Upgrade Project, refer to same. End of Senate bills.
Thank you. Senator Brooks.
Thank you, Madam President. I move to refer Senate Bills number 409 through 418 as read to the committee set forth on the list located at your desks.
Thank you. Senator Brooks has referred Senate Bills 409 to 418 as read to the committee set forth on the list located at your desk. Are there any objections to the referral? If not, so ordered.
Assembly Bill Number 2 by Assembly Committee on Government Affairs revises provisions relating to appointments of public bodies. Refer to Government Affairs. Assembly Bill 14 by Assembly Committee on Government Affairs revises provisions relating to emergency management. Refer to Government Affairs. Assembly Bill 17 by Assembly Committee on Judiciary revises provisions relating to discharge of certain persons from probation or parole. Refer to Judiciary. Assembly Bill 21 by Assembly Committee on Government Affairs revises provisions governing the confidentiality of personal information of certain persons. Refer to Government Affairs. Assembly Bill 23 by Assembly Committee on Judiciary revises provisions regarding the procedure to commit an incompetent criminal defendant. Refer to Judiciary. Assembly Bill 25 by Assembly Judiciary revises provisions relating to conditional release of certain persons found to be incompetent. Refer to Judiciary. Assembly Bill 28 by Assembly Committee on Government Affairs imposes an inverse preference on certain bidders for state purchasing contracts. Refer to Government Affairs. Assembly Bill 32 by Assembly Committee on Judiciary revises provisions relating to towing or immobilization of motor vehicle. Refer to Growth and Infrastructure. Assembly Bill 60 by Assembly Committee on Judiciary makes certain provisions of a contract or settlement agreement void and unenforceable. Refer to Judiciary. Assembly Bill 63 by Assembly Committee on Government Affairs makes various changes relating to financial administration of local governments. Refer to Government Affairs. Assembly Bill 64 by Assembly Committee on Judiciary revises provisions relating to certain crimes. Refer to Judiciary. Assembly Bill 75 by Assembly Committee on Natural Resources revises provisions relating to weights and measures. Refer to Natural Resources. Assembly Bill 76 by Assembly Committee on Government Affairs revises provisions relating to care of veterans. Refer to Government Affairs. Assembly Bill 89 by Assemblywoman Titus, etc. revises provisions relating to wildlife. Refer to Natural Resources. Assembly Bill 100 by Assembly Committee on Government Affairs revises provisions relating to wildfires. Refer to Government Affairs. Assembly Bill 107 by Assemblyman Yeager revises the procedure for determining whether a person may prosecute or defend a civil action without paying costs. Refer to Judiciary. Assembly Bill 111 by Assemblyman Frierson, etc. revises provisions relating to Peace Officer Standards and Training Commission. Refer to Government Affairs. Assembly Bill 138 by Assemblywoman Martinez, etc., and Senators Canizaro, etc., revises provisions governing the eligibility of certain convicted persons for public assistance. Refer to Health and Human Services. Assembly Bill 157 by Assemblywoman Moreno, etc., and Senators Harris, etc., authorizes a person who is the victim of certain discriminatory conduct relating to the incident involving a peace officer to bring a civil action under certain circumstances. Refer to Judiciary. Assembly Bill 171 by Assembly Committee on Natural Resources establishes certain protections for certain swamp cedars. Refer to Natural Resources. Assembly Bill 214 by Assemblywoman Constantine, etc., revises provisions governing sexual assault. Refer to Judiciary. Assembly Bill 236 by Assemblyman Frierson, etc., Senator Canizaro, etc., revises provisions governing the qualification for the Office of Attorney General. Refer to Government Affairs. Assembly Bill 258 by Assemblywoman Bilberry Axelrod revises provisions governing consolidated library districts. Refer to Education. Assembly Bill 302 by Assemblyman Summers Armstrong, etc., authorizes the Nevada Commission on Minority Affairs to request the drafting of not more than 2 legislative measures for each regular session of the legislature. Refer to Legislative Operations and Elections. Assembly Bill 304 by Assemblyman Frierson revises provisions governing peace officers. Refer to Government Affairs. Assembly Bill 308 by Assemblyman Frierson revises provisions relating to landlords and tenants. Refer to Commerce and Labor. Assembly Bill 366 by Assemblywoman Tolles revises provisions governing mental health records. Refer to Commerce and Labor. Assembly Bill 390 by Assembly Committee on Legislative Operations and Elections revises provisions relating to elections. Refer to Legislative Operations and Elections. Assembly Bill 395 by Assembly Committee on Judiciary abolishes capital punishment. Refer to Judiciary. Assembly Bill 396 by Assembly Committee on Judiciary makes various changes relating to use of deadly force. Refer to Judiciary. Assembly Bill 409 by Assembly Committee on Government Affairs revises provisions relating to the recruitment and selection of peace officers. Refer to Government Affairs. Assembly Bill 421 by Assembly Committee on Legislative Operations and Elections establishes the preferred method of referring to persons with certain conditions in Nevada Revised Statutes and the Nevada Administrative Code. Refer to Legislative Operations and Elections. End of Assembly Bills.
Thank you, Senator Roddy.
Thank you, President. I move that Assembly bills be referred to the committees as read.
Thank you. Senator Roddy has referred Assembly Bills 2 through Assembly Bill 421 as read to the committees set forth in the list located at your desk. Are there any objections to the referral? If not, so ordered.
And that concludes Order of Business Number 10.
Thank you. Order of Business Number 12, second reading.
Senate Bill Number 24, introduced by Senate Committee on Revenue and Economic Development, revises provisions relating to workforce development. The people of the state of Nevada represented in the Senate and Assembly do enact as follows. Section 1 to Section 1.
Thank you. Are there any amendments to the bill?
I have Amendment Number 110, proposed by the Senate Committee on Revenue and Economic Development.
Thank you. Senator Neal.
Madam President, I move to dispense with the reading of the amendment.
Thank you. If there are no objections, so ordered. Senator Neal.
I move to adopt Amendment 110 to SB 24.
Thank you. You have heard the motion. Are there any remarks, Senator Neal?
Amendment 110 clarifies that a business may satisfy certain eligibility criteria to participate in a program of workforce development by providing a report which sets forth the basis for any furloughs or layoffs conducted by the business in 12 months immediately preceding the date of the application for the job categories related to the proposed program of workforce development. The amendment also specifies that not more than 10% of the money distributed to provide a program of workforce development may be used to pay administrative and personnel costs.
Thank you. Are there any further remarks? All right, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying yea. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Are there any further amendments to the bill?
There are none.
Thank you. Senator Brooks.
Thank you, Madam President. Order of Business 9.
Thank you. Order of Business 9.
I move to re-refer Senate Bill 24 to Senate Finance.
Thank you. You've heard the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
And that concludes order of business number 9.
Thank you. Order of Business 13. Order of Business 13, third reading. General file.
Senate Bill number 7, introduced by Senate Committee on Judiciary, makes various changes to jurisdiction of certain courts relating to certain offenders for protection where the adverse party is a child under 18 years of age. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in the Senate and Assembly, do enact as follows. Section 1 of Section 1.
Thank you. Are there any amendments to the bill as a whole?
There are none. Section 3, subsection 2, end of bill.
Thank you. Remarks from the floor. Senator Settlemeyer.
Thank you, Madam President. Senate Bill 7 provides that the district court has exclusive jurisdiction over any action relating to the issuance or dissolution of an order for protection against domestic violence, workplace harassment, high-risk behavior, sexual assault or stalking, aggravated stalking, harassment that is sought against a child who is under 18 years of age. However, the juvenile court has exclusive jurisdiction over any action in which it is alleged that a child has committed a delinquent act by violating such an order. The bill also provides that the district court may appoint a master to hear these matters. The effective date of the bill is October 1st, 2021. Thank you.
Thank you. Further remarks? All right, hearing none, the secretary will open the roll.
Senator Spearman, do you vote yes or no on Senate Bill 7?
I vote yes.
Thank you. Looks like everyone's voted. Does anyone wish to change his or her vote? All right, the secretary will close the roll. The vote on SB 7 is 21 in favor, 0 against. The bill having received a constitutional majority is declared passed. Order the Assembly.
Senate Bill number 33, introduced by Senate Committee on Natural Resources, revises certain provisions relating to natural resource management. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in the Senate and Assembly, do enact as follows. Section 1 of Section 1.
Thank you. Are there any amendments to the bill as a whole?
There are none. Section 22, this act becomes effective upon passage and approval. End of bill.
Thank you. Remarks from the floor. Senator Scheibel.
Thank you, Madam President. Senate Bill 33 makes various changes relating to natural resource management, among other things. The bill expands the type of vegetation in areas where vegetation is located that the state forest or fire warden is responsible for conserving, protecting, and enhancing. It expands the identified uses for which the state forest or fire warden may distribute conservation plant materials on public and private property. Adds rangelands to the state-owned and privately owned lands for which the state forest or fire warden must supervise or coordinate all forestry and watershed work. Requires the state fire marshal to cooperate with the state forest or fire warden concerning certain mitigation activities, and repeals the state forest or fire warden's authority to enforce regulations relating to the reduction of brush, dense undergrowth, and other vegetation around and adjacent to a structure that is in a fired, hazardous, forested area.
Thank you. Further remarks? All right, hearing none, the secretary will open the roll.
Senator Spearman, do you vote yes or no on Senate Bill 33?
I vote yes.
All right, looks like everyone's voted. Does anyone wish to change his or her vote? All right, the secretary will close the roll. The vote on Senate Bill 33 is 21 in favor, 0 against. The bill having received a constitutional majority is declared passed. Order the Assembly.
Senate Bill number 41, introduced by Senate Committee on Judiciary, revises provisions relating to orders authorizing installation and use of pen register or trap and trace device. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in the Senate and Assembly, do enact as follows. Section 1 of Section 1.
Thank you. Are there any amendments to the bill as a whole?
There are none. Section 1, subsection 6, end of bill.
Thank you. Remarks from the floor. Senator Harris.
Actually, it was Senator Hansen.
Senator Hanson.
Thank you. Senate Bill 41 prohibits a person from installing or using a pen register or trap and trace device without first obtaining an order from a district court and provides that a peace officer may apply to a district court for such an order. The bill includes certain federal officers in the definition of peace officer when they are acting as members of a task force comprised of federal and state or local enforcement agencies, authorizes a court to accept a facsimile or electronic copy of a signature on an application for such an order, and authorizes the use of secure electronic transmission for the application and issuance of such an order. The bill is effective on October 1st, 2021.
Thank you. Further remarks? All right, hearing none, the secretary will open the roll.
Senator Spearman, do you vote yes or no on Senate Bill 41?
I vote yes.
All right, looks like everyone's voted. Does anyone wish to change his or her vote? All right, the secretary will close the roll. The vote on Senate Bill 41 is 21 in favor, 0 against. Bill having received a constitutional majority is declared passed. Order the Assembly.
Senate Bill number 54, introduced by Senate Committee on Natural Resources, revises provisions relating to the State Board of Agriculture. The people of the state of Nevada represented in the Senate and Assembly do enact as follows. Section 1 of Section 1.
Thank you. Are there any amendments to the bill?
There are none. Section 5, subsection 2, end of bill.
Thank you. Remarks from the floor. Senator Gokachia. Nope. Just a minute. Senator Scheibel.
Thank you, Madam President. Senate Bill 54 revises and expands the membership of the State Board of Agriculture from 11 to 13 members to allow for the cumulative new members as follows: a member engaged in livestock production, a member who is a licensed veterinarian with experience in a mixed animal or large animal practice, a member working in the field of supplemental nutrition distribution, a member engaged in food manufacturing or animal processing, and 2 members engaged in growing crops, at least one of which is a specialty crop harvested by mechanical cultivation. The bill makes conforming changes relating to the number of members that constitute a quorum, continuing membership of certain members, and appointment of other members to staggered terms.
Thank you. Further remarks. Senator Hanson.
Thank you, Madam President. Some of us are quite opposed to the bill because, frankly, one of the purposes of a lot of these bills, like Gaming Control Board, Wildlife Commission, the Contractors Board, is to take care of those specific things. And what we're seeing is a gradual drift away from agriculture being about agriculture and becoming increasingly political. So we are, well, I'm speaking, I guess, for myself, but several of us are very concerned about that drift away from its original purpose. And therefore, we are urging our colleagues to vote no on Senate Bill 54. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Senator Hanson. Senator Gokachia.
Thank you, Madam President, and I'm glad I didn't have the floor statement on this. I hate to rise in opposition of a bill. Anyway, the bill just didn't get to where I needed to be. The language in the bill fails to really define the duties of the board. Even though it isn't, we're expanding the board, we fail to define the duties of the board in advising the director of the Department of Ag and relating to regulations that they bring forward. In the past, the Ag Board always at least looked at those and typically approved them before they came forward. And the language clearly isn't in this bill, and so I will be rising in opposition. I ask you all to do the same. We're better off without it than with this language. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Gokachia. Further remarks? All right, hearing none, the secretary will open the roll.
Senator Spearman, do you vote yes or no on Senate Bill 54?
I vote yes.
All right, looks like everyone's voted. Does anyone wish to change his or her vote? All right, the secretary will close the roll. The vote on Senate Bill 54 is 12 in favor, 9 against. The bill having received a constitutional majority is declared passed. Order the Assembly.
Senate Bill number 60, introduced by Senate Committee on Growth and Infrastructure, revises provisions governing vehicles. The people of the state of Nevada represented in the Senate and Assembly do enact as follows. Section 1 of Section 1.
Thank you. Are there any amendments to the bill as a whole?
There are none. Section 23, this act becomes effective July 1, 2021, into bill.
Thank you. Remarks from the floor. Senator Hammond.
Thank you, Madam President. Senate Bill 60 revises the design, process, and numbering of special license plates by the Department of Motor Vehicles. The bill also revises the process for an applicant's participation in the design of a special plate, including deadlines for the submittal and revision of a special plate design. Senate Bill 60 clarifies that Based on a recommendation from the Commission on Special License Plates, the DMV may take disciplinary action against a charitable organization that has failed to comply with the statutes governing financial administration of special license plates fees. Talks about the measure, set additional limits. Senate Bill 60 increases the expiration date of a special permit from 15 to 30 days for the movement of a vehicle to sell out of state or for the movement outside of state of a vehicle purchased. And then finally, the bill revises the formula for distribution of the money in the pollution control account by removing the calculations related to funds collected from the license of a certain classic vehicle or vehicles that are exempt from emissions testing.
Thank you. Further remarks? All right, hearing none, the Secretary will open the roll.
Senator Spearman, do you vote yes or no on Senate Bill 60?
I vote yes.
All right, looks like everyone's voted. Does anyone wish to change his or her vote? All right, the Secretary will close the roll. The vote on Senate Bill 60 is 21 in favor, 0 against. Bill having received a constitutional majority is declared passed. Order to the Assembly.
Senate Bill number 72, introduced by Senate Committee on Judiciary, makes various changes relating to common interest communities. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in the Senate and Assembly, do enact as follows. Section 1 of Section 1.
Thank you. Are there any amendments to the bill as a whole?
There are none. Section 4, this act becomes effective upon passage and approval. End of bill.
Thank you. Remarks from the floor. Senator Harris.
Thank you, Madam President. Senate Bill 72 revises several provisions concerning common interest communities. The bill provides that a limited purpose association must comply with the requirements of the Uniform Common Interest Ownership Act pertaining to the establishment and foreclosure of a lien for assessments. It eliminates the requirement that an executive board may only meet in executive session with an attorney for the association on matters relating to proposed or pending litigation if the contents of the discussion are protected by attorney-client privilege. It provides instead that the board may meet in executive session with an attorney on matters that are protected by attorney-client privilege. Provides that a person who may be sanctioned for an alleged violation is entitled to receive written notice of the executive board's decision regarding the alleged violation within a reasonable time after the decision is made, and that the period to cure a violation before it becomes a continuing violation does not commence until the date on which the notice of the board's decision is provided to the person, and requires the Commission for Common Interest Communities and condominium hotels to adopt regulations establishing criteria to be used in determining whether a violation poses an imminent threat to health, safety, or welfare, the severity of such a violation, and limitations on the amount of fines an association may impose.
Thank you. Further remarks? All right, hearing none, the Secretary will open the roll.
Senator Spearman, do you vote yes or no on Senate Bill 72?
I vote yes.
All right, looks like everyone's voted. Does anyone wish to change his or her vote? All right, the Secretary will close the roll. The vote on Senate Bill 72 is 20 in, okay. Did I get a change in vote? Is that, okay. Okay. All right, then, Secretary will close the roll. The vote on Senate Bill 72 is 20 in favor, 1 against. The bill having received a constitutional majority is declared passed. Order to the Assembly.
Senate Bill number 145, introduced by Senator Spearman, revises provisions relating to financial institutions. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in the Senate and Assembly, do enact as follows. Section 1 of Section 1.
Thank you. Are there any amendments to the bill as a whole?
There are none. Section 2 and of Section 2 end of bill.
Thank you. Remarks on the floor. Senator Spearman.
Thank you, Madam President. Senate Bill 145 requires financial institutions subject to the Federal Community Reinvestment Act of 1977 to notify the Commissioner of the Division of Financial Institutions of the Department of Business and Industry of their CRA rating as soon as it becomes publicly available. The bill also requires financial institutions to provide training to persons and organizations in the community, including but not limited to faith-based and consumer advocacy organizations, about the obligations imposed on the financial institutions by the CRA. Financial institutions must report to the Commissioner the number of training sessions conducted each year. And finally, the bill requires the division to post on its website the current CRA rating for each financial institution and to submit biannual reports to the legislature containing the names of each financial institution, their most current CRA rating, and the number of training sessions conducted. That is the whole of the bill. And Madam President, I'd like to just say something. The bill is effective October 1, 2021. The Community Reinvestment Act the origins are in the 1970s when there were financial institutions moving into low wealth communities and moving into BIPOC communities, and most of the services that they had, they were overcharging. There's federal regulations that came out that said that they've got to reinvest in the communities of which they are a part. Today, we know that there are corporate banks all across the country. So the Community Reinvestment Act, this bill, what it really does is there's so many community organizations and faith-based organizations who do not know about this. And so the whole purpose of this is, number one, to make sure that that information is made available to them. And number two, it also gives financial institutions an opportunity to know additional people that they may partnership to fulfill that financial obligation. Sometimes the reinvestment might include financial literacy. Sometimes the reinvestment includes helping people to get home ownership. Sometimes the reinvestment could include something that deals with housing or other homeless issues. So it's whatever the needs are in that community, and that's what the CRA Act was designed to do.
Thank you. Further remarks? All right, hearing none, the Secretary will open the roll.
Senator Spearman, do you vote yes or no on Senate Bill 145?
I vote yes.
Thank you. Looks like everyone's voted. Does anyone wish to change his or her vote? All right, the Secretary will close the roll. The vote on Senate Bill 145 is 15 in favor, 6 against. The bill, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Order to the Assembly.
Senate Bill number 148, introduced by Senator Harris, establishes provisions regarding the reporting of hate crimes. People State of Nevada, represented in the Senate Assembly, do enact as follows. Section 1 to Section 1.
Thank you. Are there any amendments to the bill as a whole?
There are none. Section 4, subsection 2, end of bill.
Thank you. Remarks from the floor. Senator Harris.
Thank you, Madam President. Senate Bill 148 requires state and local law enforcement agencies in Nevada to submit information regarding hate crimes to the Central Repository for Nevada Records of Criminal History monthly. The repository is to ensure the information is provided to the Federal Bureau of Investigation for inclusion in the annual hate crime statistics report, and that the information is made publicly available. Any data acquired under the provisions of this bill may be used only for research or statistical purposes and must not contain any of the victim's identifying information. The bill also requires the Director of the Department of Public Safety to adopt guidelines regarding the manner in which this data is to be reported to the repository.
Thank you. Further remarks. Senator Hansen.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm going to be voting no on this because I think the whole concept of hate crimes is flawed. There used to be something in America we were proud of, and that was the concept of equality in the eyes of the law. Whether a crime was committed by the President of the United States or a plumber from Sparks, the penalties and the application of law would be the same. Then we decided about 25 years ago that we're going to start enhancing penalties for certain victims, which is in essence degrades the other victims of the exact same type of crime. And while I realize this bill is only about reporting, the whole concept is flawed. I think we need to get back to the idea that all are equal in the eyes of the law, including all people that are victims of crimes as well. I do not believe anyone should ever have enhanced penalties while ignoring the fact that some other person with the exact same circumstances, but with different skin colors or whatever, are therefore degraded and are not given an enhanced penalty for the people that violate their rights. So I'm going to vote no on principle and encourage my colleagues to do the same. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Senator Hansen. Senator Cannizzaro.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise in support of Senate Bill 148 and what it is intending to do, which is to give us some data on hate crimes. And the thing about hate crimes is that it is something that is not only just a crime that occurs to someone who belongs to a specific ethnicity or gender or other group. It is that that crime is specifically motivated by that bias, which is very different from most crimes that are not motivated by those things. And we have all kinds of enhancements for all kinds of victims because they are differently situated. We make those distinctions. We make those distinctions for children. We make those distinctions for senior citizens. We make those distinctions for pregnant women. We make those distinctions for individuals who are the victims of hate crimes because it is a very different crime to commit against somebody on the sole basis of them being either a male or a female, if they are Latinx or if they are a black individual in our communities, because that is what is motivating the crime, not some other motive or intent. And I think that having data to say that this is how this is occurring in our communities and how can we better address it so that that isn't the case is exactly the thing that we should be doing. And so I support this bill and urge my colleagues to support it as well.
Thank you, Senator Cannizzaro. Senator Spearman.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise in support of the bill as well. I believe that a couple of sessions ago, we may have even included the addition of first responders and enhanced penalties. And I think the whole idea that everyone being treated under the law has already come to pass. We are working on perfection as the United States of America, but we are not yet perfected. And my mind goes back to a story in history about 1955, a young man who was 14 years old in Mississippi and was there visiting his family, and they thought that he whistled at a white woman. Emmett Till was promptly taken. He was beaten, hung, he was burned, his whole body burned, and then he was thrown into the river. It was several years later that they were finally able to bring those who were responsible for killing that little boy to justice, and they used crime statutes to do that. And so we do it for a number of other reasons, and as I said before, we are not yet perfect, but we are on our way to perfection. And until we get there, then we will need these types of enhancements to make sure that those who break the law pay. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Spearman. Further remarks? All right, hearing none, the Secretary will open the roll.
Senator Spearman, do you vote yes or no on Senate Bill 148?
I vote yes.
All right, looks like everyone's voted. Does anyone wish to change his or her vote? All right, the Secretary may close the roll. The vote on Senate Bill 148 is 18 in favor, 3 against. The bill, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Order the Assembly.
Senate Bill number 173, introduced by Senators Rondero, Loop, etc., and Assemblywoman Anderson Torres, revises provisions relating to education. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in the Senate and Assembly, do enact as follows. Section 1 of Section 1.
Thank you. Are there any amendments to the bill as a whole?
There are none. Section 3, end of Section 3, end of bill.
Thank you. Remarks on the floor. Senator Rondero, Loop.
Thank you, Madam President. Senate Bill 173 authorizes the Board of Trustees of each school district and the State Public Charter School Authority to submit a plan to address learning loss caused by the COVID-19 pandemic to the Superintendent of Public Instruction. The plan must include the option for pupils to attend summer school, either in person or online, and a description of the manner in which schools and school districts, including charter schools, will target pupils most at risk of learning loss. The bill requires a school district or charter school offering summer school to include transportation and meal services. Additionally, Senate Bill 173 requires that the personnel hired for summer school programs receive supplemental pay equal to their contract pay. The bill also requires school districts and the State Public Charter School Authority to submit a report regarding certain information relating to the plans to address learning loss to the state superintendent by October 31st, 2021. Nevada's Department of Education must submit a compiled report to the governor and the legislature by November 30th, 2021. This bill is effective upon passage and approval and expires by limitation on January 1st, 2022.
Thank you. Further remarks? Senator Severs-Gansert.
Thank you, Madam President. I urge your support of Senate Bill 173. I want to thank my colleague from Senate District 8 for bringing this legislation forward. We know that our children will experience significant learning losses because of COVID-19 and the inability to attend school or attend it part-time or less, really. So I think that summertime is a good time to be able to catch up, and this is a step in the right direction, and I appreciate, again, this legislation and urge your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Severs-Gansert. Further remarks? All right, hearing none, the Secretary will open the roll.
Senator Spearman, do you vote yes or no on Senate Bill 173?
I vote yes.
All right, looks like everyone's voted. Does anyone wish to change his or her vote? All right, the secretary will close the roll. The vote on Senate Bill 173 is 21 in favor, 0 against. Bill having received a constitutional majority is declared passed. Order the assembly.
Senate Bill 190 has been placed on the Secretary's desk. Senate Bill 212, introduced by Senators Harris, etc., revises provisions relating to use of force by peace officers. The people of the state of Nevada represented in the Senate and Assembly do enact as follows. Section 1 of Section 1.
Thank you. Are there any amendments to the bill as a whole?
There are none. Section 7, subsection 3, end of bill.
Thank you. Remarks from the floor. Senator Harris.
Thank you, Madam President. Senate Bill 212 places restrictions on the use of restraint chairs by peace officers and prohibits a peace officer who is responding to a protest or demonstration from discharging a kinetic energy projectile indiscriminately into a crowd or targeting the head, pelvis, or spine or other vital areas of a person. Prior to using a chemical agent, an officer must first declare that the protest or demonstration constitutes an unlawful assembly and then provide orders to disperse, an egress route, and reasonable time for protesters or demonstrators to disperse. The bill also requires a peace officer to employ de-escalation techniques and other alternatives consistent with his or her training before resorting to higher levels of force to effect an arrest. If an officer uses a higher level of force, the officer is to identify himself or herself as a peace officer, if this can be done safely, and is to use only the objectively reasonable amount of force necessary to safely accomplish a lawful purpose. Law enforcement agencies are required to adopt written policies on the threat posed by certain persons to peace officers and others, and are required to report data on the use of force to the Central Repository for Nevada Records of Criminal History. Law enforcement agencies are required to participate in the National Use of Force Data Collection Program of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, but the data collected may not be used against a peace officer during any criminal proceeding. And Madam President, at this time, if I may, I'd just like to thank all of the many people on all sides of this issue who worked with me over months to develop what I think is some pretty good policy. That includes folks from the ACLU, from the Public Defender's Office, from the District Attorney's Office, from Washoe County Sheriffs, from the Las Vegas Metro Police Department, NAPSO, and everyone in between. So I just wanted to give them a shout out for getting us here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Harris. Further remarks, Senator Hansen.
Thank you, Madam President. This was the bill I spoke on earlier when the people came who were supposedly experts and presented a bunch of incredibly inaccurate data attacking the law enforcement community of the state of Nevada. So I'm a strong no on this just because of the basis that this really boiled down to an attack. I am aware that our senator, my colleague from District 11, has worked hard to try to work out some of that, but I think the overall concept behind it is flawed, that somehow these protests in Las Vegas were the fault of the police. I want to remind everybody, too, that while we talk a lot about people are getting shot by the cops, supposedly, the cop that was actually shot in the back of the head, and I want to say exactly what the judge said. A judge, and that was Shea Michelanis, who I've mentioned before, 29 years old, shot in the back of the head by these protesters, crippled for the rest of his life from the neck down. That's the people that shot him who these laws should be focused at. But here's what the judge said. A judge who reviewed the evidence at a June 5th court hearing said police videos showed the perpetrator, quote, walking by, taking out a gun, and firing at officers. That's the type of people we should be focusing on, not further handicapping our law enforcement people who are trying to do their job and protect all the citizens of this state. So I urge my colleagues to vote no on Senate Bill 212. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Senator Hansen. Senator Scheibel.
Thank you, Madam President. And I have also followed Officer Michelanis' case somewhat closely, and there is right now an enhanced penalty for the person who shot him and made him permanently disabled. But I suppose my colleague from District 14 would not support such an enhancement because we are supposed to treat people under the law equally. And that is what Senate Bill 212 is about. And that's why I'm proud to support it, and that's why it's an easy choice for me to support it. I work with law enforcement officers in my day job every single day who are working hard to serve honorably and to protect our community, and to do so in a way that fosters trust and respect and a mutual agreement with our community. And I think that this bill is a step in that direction. It holds officers accountable when they make mistakes that are truly fatal It requires officers to utilize a use of force continuum that has been accepted across the nation and by the law enforcement agencies within our jurisdictions that have to use them. And for those reasons, this bill perfectly hits on the places that it's necessary to have reform without imposing on the ability of an officer to utilize their good judgment and their training to effectuate their jobs adequately, but it allows for better community trust, better community relationships, and for the progress and the improvement of our law enforcement agencies moving forward. So I'm proud to support SB 212.
Thank you, Senator Scheibel. Further remarks? All right, hearing none, the Secretary will open the roll.
Senator Spearman, do you vote yes or no on Senate Bill 212?
I vote yes.
All right, looks like everyone's voted. Does anyone wish to change his or her vote? All right, Secretary will close the roll. The vote on Senate Bill 212 is 12 in favor, 9 against. The bill, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Order the Assembly.
Senate Bill 222, introduced by Senator Scheibel, revises provisions relating to governmental administration. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in the Senate and Assembly, do enact as follows. Section 1 to Section 1.
Thank you. Are there any amendments to the bill as a whole?
There are none. Section 14, this act becomes effective January 1, 2022. End of bill.
Thank you. Remarks from the floor. Senator Scheibel.
Thank you, Madam President. Senate Bill 222 requires state agencies to collaborate with minority groups on policies, agreements, and programs that affect minority groups and ensure that programs and services are accessible and inclusive. The bill also requires state agencies to designate a diversity and inclusion liaison and sets forth certain duties of the liaison. Finally, the bill requires the Office of Minority Health and Equity of the Department of Health and Human Services, the Nevada Commission on Minority Affairs of the Department of Business and Industry, and the Office for New Americans and the Office of the Governor to facilitate a meeting between the liaisons and minority groups at least once a year and submit an annual report regarding findings and recommendations to the Governor and the Legislative Commission.
Thank you. Further remarks? All right, hearing none, the Secretary will open the roll.
Senator Spearman, do you vote yes or no on Senate Bill 222?
I vote yes.
All right. Looks like everyone's voted. Does anyone wish to change his or her vote? All right, Secretary will close the roll. The vote on Senate Bill 222 is 17 in favor, 4 against. The bill, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Order the Assembly.
Senate Bill number 245, introduced by Senator Lang, makes changes regarding employment. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in the Senate and Assembly, do enact as follows. Section 1 to Section 1.
Thank you. Are there any amendments to the bill as a whole?
There are none. Section 3, this act becomes effective July 1, 2021. End of bill.
Thank you. Remarks from the floor. Senator Scheibel. Nope. Senator Lang.
Thank you, Madam President. Senate Bill 225 requires that the Labor Commissioner decline jurisdiction of a claim or complaint concerning the payment of wages, commissions, or other benefits if a claimant is covered by a collective bargaining agreement that provides the claimant with exclusive remedy or relief for a violation in the terms of those remedies, reliefs, or appeals are exhausted. The Labor Commissioner may, however, assert jurisdiction under certain circumstances. This bill also clarifies amounts owed to a discharged employee or employee who resigns or quits and whose former employer fails to pay the employee by the statutory deadlines are considered wages. As you stated, the effective date of this bill is July 1, 2021. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Lang. Further remarks? All right, hearing none, the Secretary will open the roll.
Senator Spearman, do you vote yes or no on Senate Bill 245?
I vote yes.
All right, looks like everyone's voted. Does anyone wish to change his or her vote? All right, Secretary will close the roll. Vote on Senate Bill 245 is 21 in favor, 0 against. The bill, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Order the Assembly.
Senate Bill number 268, introduced by Senator Harris, revises provisions relating to state financial administration. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in the Senate and Assembly, do enact as follows. Section 1 to Section 1.
Thank you. Are there any amendments to the bill as a whole?
There are none. Section 3, this act becomes effective July 1, 2021. End of bill.
Thank you. Remarks from the floor. Senator Harris.
Thank you, Madam President. Senate Bill 268 requires, to the extent of available resources, the Fiscal Analysis Division of the Legislative Council Bureau to perform a budget stress test in each even-numbered year. The stress test must compare the estimated future revenues to and the estimated future expenditures from the major funds of the state treasury under various potential economic conditions. A report regarding the results of the test must be posted on the legislature's website and submitted to the governor and the legislature.
Thank you. Further remarks, Senator Kiefer.
Thank you, Madam President. I certainly want to support Senate Bill 268. Thank my colleague from Senate District 11 for bringing it. It's a particularly effective tool that's used in other states to ensure that we can plan strategically long-term financially. So I would encourage all of my colleagues to support it. Thank you.
Thank you. Further remarks? All right, hearing none, the Secretary will open the roll.
Senator Spearman, do you vote yes or no on Senate Bill 268?
I vote yes.
All right, looks like everyone's voted. Does anyone wish to change his or her vote? All right, the Secretary will close the roll. The vote on Senate Bill 268 is 21 in favor, 0 against. Bill having received a constitutional majority is declared passed. Order the Assembly.
Senate Bill number 387, introduced by Senator Harris, provides for regulation of certain suppliers that provide an inmate calling service. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in the Senate and Assembly, do enact as follows. Section 1 to Section 1.
Thank you. Are there any amendments to the bill as a whole?
There are none. Section 14, subsection 2, end of bill.
Thank you. Remarks from the floor. Senator Harris.
Thank you, Madam President. Senate Bill 387 requires the Public Utilities Commission of Nevada to adopt regulations establishing rate caps and limitations on ancillary service charges for interstate calls made by inmates incarcerated in a public or private correctional facility in Nevada. The Public Utilities Commission must also adopt regulations for reviewing and approving rates that exceed the established caps or charges that fail to comply with the prescribed limitations. The rate cap set by the PUCN must not exceed the rate set by the Federal Communications Commission for interstate and international calls by inmates, and the other limitations set by the PUCN must be consistent with limitations set by the FCC for interstate and international calls by inmates. A supplier of inmate calling services must request approval from the PUCN for its interstate rates and ancillary service charges. They must also submit revised rates or charges within 30 days of a revised regulation if the supplier's rate exceeds the new cap or the charge fails to comply with the new limitations. And they must also publish its rates, terms, and conditions by posting such information on its publicly available website and by having a copy available for public inspection at its principal Nevada office.
Thank you. Further remarks. Senator Kiefer.
Thank you, Madam President. Certainly support Senate Bill 387. I just wanted to point out and note that the PUC indicated that there would be no fiscal impact on them by proposing these new requirements. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Further remarks. Senator Hammond.
Thank you, Madam President. I just wanted to be on the record as supporting the bill. I'll be a little bit more brief than my colleague from Senate 11 and say that it's not 1989 anymore and the rates should be coming down. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Hammond. Further remarks. All right, hearing none, the Secretary will open the roll.
Senator Spearman, do you vote yes or no on Senate Bill 387?
I vote yes.
All right, looks like everyone's voted. Does anyone wish to change his or her vote? All right, Secretary will close the roll. The vote on Senate Bill 387 is 21 in favor, 0 against. The bill having received a constitutional majority is declared passed. Order the Assembly.
And that concludes order of business number 13 on the first agenda.
All right, order of business 16. Remarks from the floor. Remarks? How are you guys doing? All right. Shall we go to the second agenda? All right. Second agenda, second reading, order of business 12, please.
Senate Bill number 5, introduced by Senate Committee on Health and Human Services, makes changes relating to telehealth. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in the Senate and Assembly, do enact as follows. Section 1 of Section 1.
Thank you. Are there any amendments to the bill?
I have amendment number 174, proposed by Senate Committee on Health and Human Services.
Thank you. Senator Ratty.
Thank you, President. I move to dispense with the reading of the amendment.
Thank you. If there are no objections, so ordered. Senator Ratty.
Thank you, President. I move to adopt Amendment 174 to Senate Bill 5.
Thank you. You have heard the motion. Are there any remarks? Senator Ratty.
Amendment 174 to Senate Bill 5 clarifies telehealth includes both synchronous and asynchronous interactions, includes audio-only interaction as telehealth except as it relates to industrial insurance, expressly authorizes healthcare providers to establish a relationship with patients through telehealth, and authorizes the State Board of Health to adopt regulations governing the establishment of a relationship in this manner, and requires the Department of Health and Human Services to establish a data dashboard.
Thank you. Further remarks? All right, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying yea. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Any further amendments to the bill?
There are none.
Thank you. Senate Bill 5, ordered, reprinted, engrossed into the general file.
Senate Bill number 19, introduced by Senate Committee on Judiciary, establishes provisions authorizing certain entities to obtain information relating to the records of criminal history of certain persons responsible for the safety and well-being of children, elderly persons, or persons with disabilities. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in the Senate and Assembly, do enact as follows. Section 1 of Section 1.
Thank you. Are there any amendments to the bill?
Have amendment number 26 proposed by Senate Committee on Judiciary.
Thank you. Senator Scheibel.
I move to dispense with the reading of the amendment.
Thank you. If there are no objections, so ordered. Senator Scheibel.
I move to adopt Amendment 26 to Senate Bill 19.
Thank you. You've heard the motion. Are there any remarks? Senator Scheibel.
Thank you. This amendment clarifies that in addition to an employee or volunteer or a person applying to be an employee or volunteer, the provisions of the bill apply to other covered individuals who are affiliated with a qualified entity that is authorized to obtain records of criminal history of persons who will have access to children, the elderly, or disabled persons. Other revisions in the amendment contain technical changes only.
Thank you. Further remarks? All right, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying yea. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Are there any further amendments to the bill?
There are none.
Thank you. Senate Bill 19, ordered, reprinted, engrossed into the general file.
Senate Bill number 55, introduced by Senate Committee on Commerce and Labor, revises provisions governing licensing and regulation of employee leasing companies. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in the Senate and Assembly, do enact as follows. Section 1 of Section 1.
Thank you. Are there any amendments to the bill?
Have amendment number 3 proposed by Senate Committee on Commerce and Labor.
Thank you. Senator Spearman.
Thank you, Madam President. I don't have the amendment in front of me, but I know that what we
Would
did
you
was
like to move to dispense with the reading of the amendment?
dispense with the dispense with the reading of the amendment. Can we take a 1-minute recess, please?
Yes, 1 minute recess. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President.
All right. Senate will come to order. We are on the second agenda, second reading. Senate Bill 55, Senator Spearman. Did you want to dispense with the reading? Nope, we're not doing that. Who are we doing?
I'll do it.
Senator Neal.
Okay.
Senator Neal.
Senator Neal.
I'll do it. Okay. Madam President, I move to dispense with the reading of the amendment.
Thank you, Senator Neal. If there are no objections, so ordered. Senator Neal.
I move to adopt the amendment number 3 to Senate Bill 55.
Thank you. You've heard the motion. Are there any remarks? Senator Neal.
The amendment makes 3 changes to Senate Bill 55. Number 1, it transfers the duties of supervising employee leasing companies from the administrator of the Division of Industrial Relations of the Department of Business and Industry to the Office of Labor Commissioner. 2, it changes the term of employee leasing company to professional employer organization. It changes the term certificate of registration to license, and that's the amendment.
Thank you. Further remarks? All right, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying yea. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Are there any further amendments to the bill?
There are none.
Thank you. Senate Bill 55 is ordered, reprinted, engrossed into the general file.
Senate Bill number 66, introduced by Senate Committee on Education, creates a Nevada K-16 Connectivity and Innovation Advisory Commission. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in the Senate Assembly, do enact as follows. Section 1 of Section 1.
Thank you. Are there any amendments to the bill?
I have amendment number 13 proposed by Senate Committee on Education.
Thank you. Senator Dennis.
Thank you, Madam President. I move to dispense with the reading of the amendment.
Thank you. If there are no objections, so ordered. Senator Dennis.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the Senate adopt Amendment Number 13 to Senate Bill Number 66.
Thank you. You have heard the motion. Are there any remarks? Senator Dennis.
Thank you. The amendment generally removes the responsibility to gather information on student home connectivity from an independent commission and instead expands those responsibilities under the Office of Science, Innovation, and Technology in the Office of the Governor. The amendment makes the following changes. Requires OSIT to develop a standardized system of gathering residential internet services accessibility data, develop a method to share such data with certain entities interested in supporting pupils who lack internet service at home. C, it recommends minimum standards for devices owned by school districts and issued to students. It conducts a statewide gap analysis regarding the number of students lacking home connectivity or devices and develops a plan to address these gaps. And E, reports on these responsibilities to the governor, the State Board of Education, and the legislature. It requires school districts and state public charter school authority to report related information to OSIT.
Thank you. Further remarks? All right, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying yea. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Are there any further amendments to the bill?
There are none.
Thank you. Senate Bill 66 is ordered reprinted, engrossed into the general file.
Senate Bill Number 69, introduced by Senate Committee on Health and Human Services, revises provisions relating to behavioral health. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in the Senate Assembly, do enact as follows. Section 1 of Section 1.
Thank you. Are there any amendments to the bill?
I have Amendment Number 50, proposed by the Senate Committee on Health and Human Services.
Thank you. Senator Ratty.
President, I move to dispense with the reading of the amendment.
Thank you. If there are no objections, so ordered. Senator Ratty.
Thank you, President. I move to adopt Amendment 50 to Senate Bill 69.
Thank you. You have heard the motion. Are there any remarks? Senator Ratty.
Amendment 50 makes various changes to SB 69. It revises certain definitions to clarify that peer recovery support specialists and peer recovery support specialist supervisors provide support services to adults for compensation as a regular part of their job duties. It provides that specialist interns may provide such services without certification while acquiring required experience if the Nevada Certification Board establishes the conditions under which they may provide these services, requires certain background checks for individuals, deletes provisions that add peer recovery specialists and supervisors to the definition of provider of health care, deletes existing references in NRS to peer support services and peer support recovery organization, requires the Department of Ed to develop, maintain, and publish a list of evidence-based curricula and programs concerning substance use disorder and substance use misuse prevention, and deletes provisions requiring the State Board of Health to prescribe a successor system to the Youth Risk Behavior Surveillance System.
Thank you. Further remarks? All right, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying yea. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Are there any further amendments to the bill?
There are none.
Thank you. Senate Bill 69 is ordered reprinted, engrossed into the general file.
Senate Bill Number 71, introduced by Senate Committee on Judiciary, revises provisions governing unclaimed property. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in the Senate Assembly, do enact as follows. Section 1 to Section 1.
Thank you. Are there any amendments to the bill?
I have Amendment Number 9, proposed by Senate Committee on Judiciary.
Thank you. Senator Scheibel.
I move to dispense with the reading of Amendment 9.
Thank you. If there are no objections, so ordered. Senator Scheibel.
I move to adopt Amendment 9 to Senate Bill 71.
Thank you. You've heard the motion. Are there any remarks? Senator Scheibel.
Thank you. The amendment adds new language in various sections of the bill incorporating portions of the revised Uniform Unclaimed Property Act as follows. Revises and adds new language in Nevada Revised Statutes 120A.500 concerning activity that indicates an owner's interest in property. Adds new language in NRS 128.530 concerning when certain types of property are subject to the custody of the state. Adds new language in NRS 128.560 regarding what information must be contained in a report of abandoned property, and revises and adds new language in NRS 128.590 concerning when a property holder who has paid money or delivered property to the administrator may file a claim for reimbursement.
Thank you. Further remarks? All right, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying yea. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Are there any further amendments to the bill?
There are none.
Thank you. Senate Bill 71, ordered reprinted, engrossed into the general file.
Senate Bill Number 95, introduced by Senator Orangehall, revises provisions relating to business entities. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in the Senate and Assembly, do enact as follows. Section 1 to Section 1.
Thank you. Are there any amendments to the bill?
I have Amendment Number 28, proposed by Senate Committee on Judiciary.
Thank you. Senator Scheibel.
Thank you. I move to dispense with the reading of Amendment 28.
Thank you. If there are no objections, so ordered. Senator Scheibel.
I move to adopt Amendment 28 to Senate Bill 95.
Thank you. You've heard the motion. Are there any remarks? Senator Scheibel.
Thank you. The amendment makes technical revisions throughout the bill. It strikes the term market value and resident domestic corporation in Section 38 of the bill, adds the terms all of referring to shareholders and any referring to classes or series of capital stock in Section 6, replaces the term authorized and authorized with permit and permitted referring to the persons attending remote meetings in Section 11, adds the phrase for a meeting of stockholders of the corporation for clarity and replaces the word date with day in Section 12, replaces another corporation or business entity with a limited liability company in reference to persons who may be indemnified by a corporation in Section 15, as a clarifying term associations or referring to exceptions from the requirement for a corporation to issue a certificate of membership in certain circumstances in Section 16, replaces the phrase by the with pursuant to in regard to written consent of stockholders concerning creation of dissenters' rights in Section 36, replaces the phrase his or her with of the stockholder regarding a stockholder's demand for payment of shares in Section 37, and replaces the proposed changes in Section 22 with language that both retains the concept of management being vested in members and preserves the proportionality of members.
Thank you. Further remarks? All right, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying yea. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Any further amendments to the bill?
There are none.
Thank you. Senate Bill 95 is ordered reprinted and engrossed into the general file.
Senate Bill number 108, introduced by Senate Committee on Judiciary, establishes provisions relating to administration of justice. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in the Senate and Assembly, do enact as follows. Section 1 of Section 1.
Thank you. Are there any amendments to the bill?
I have amendment number 138, proposed by Senate Committee on Judiciary.
Thank you. Three's the charm. Senator Scheibel.
Thank you. I move to dispense with the reading of Amendment 138.
Thank you. If there are no objections, so ordered. Senator Scheibel.
And I move for the adoption of Amendment 138 to Senate Bill 108.
Thank you. Heard the motion. Are there any remarks? Senator Scheibel.
Thank you. The amendment narrows the scope of the bill to the juvenile justice system and those who have routine contact with juveniles in their work, including employees of regional facilities for treatment and rehabilitation. Additionally, the amendment provides that the responsibility for developing regulations requiring training on implicit bias and cultural competency will rest with the Division of Child and Family Services, DCFS, of the Department of Health and Human Services, rather than the Attorney General, and that responsibility for providing the training will fall to an individual's employer. The impact of trauma and adverse childhood experiences on decision-making and behavior is added to the list of information that must be included in the training, and the Nevada Supreme Court is authorized to provide by rule for appropriate training for any magistrate, judge, master, or employee in the juvenile court system who routinely interacts with system-involved juveniles. Finally, the amendment provides that the portions of the bill requiring training are effective 9 months after the adoption of the regulations by DCFS.
Thank you. Further remarks? All right, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying yea. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Are there any further amendments to the bill?
There are none.
Thank you. Senate Bill 108 is ordered reprinted and engrossed into the general file.
Senate Bill number 109, introduced by Senator Spearman, revises provisions relating to the collection of certain information by governmental agencies. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in the Senate and Assembly, do enact as follows. Section 1 of Section 1.
Thank you. Are there any amendments to the bill?
I have amendment number 163, proposed by Senate Committee on Government Affairs.
Thank you. Senator Dondera-Loop.
Thank you, Madam President. I move to dispense with the reading of the amendment.
Thank you. If there are no objections, so ordered. Senator Dondera-Loop.
I move to adopt Amendment 163 to Senate Bill 109.
Thank you. You've heard the motion. Are there any remarks? Senator Dondera-Loop.
Thank you, Madam President. Amendment 163 makes the following changes to Senate Bill 109. Adds gender expression to provide that demographic information collected pursuant to the bill include a person's sexual orientation and gender identity or expression. Provides that agencies without the necessary funding and resources to begin implementing the collection of data pursuant to the bill would not be required to collect such data until January 1st, 2024, and requires agencies that have not implemented the collection of data on or before January 1st, 2022 to submit a progress report by December 31st, 2022, and annually thereafter, setting forth reasons for not implementing the data collection and the actions taken by the agency toward the data collection.
Thank you. Further remarks? All right, hearing none, the Secretary, well, I'm all confused. All right, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying yea. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Are there any further amendments to the bill?
There are none.
Thank you. Senate Bill 109 is ordered reprinted and engrossed into the general file.
Senate Bill number 156, introduced by Senate Committee on Health and Human Services, revises provisions relating to crisis stabilization centers. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in the Senate and Assembly, do enact as follows. Section 1 of Section 1.
Thank you. Are there any amendments to the bill?
I have amendment number 53, proposed by Senate Committee on Health and Human Services.
Thank you. Senator Ratty.
President, I move to dispense with the reading of the amendment.
Thank you. If there are no objections, so ordered. Senator Ratty.
Thank you, President. I move to adopt Amendment 53 to Senate Bill 156.
Thank you. You've heard the motion. Are there any remarks? Senator Ratty.
Amendment 53 expands the types of hospitals that may obtain an endorsement as a crisis stabilization center to include rural hospitals and hospitals accredited by certain accrediting agencies.
Thank you. Further remarks? All right. Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying yea. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Are there any further amendments to the bill?
There are none.
Thank you. Senate Bill 156 is ordered reprinted, engrossed into the general file.
Senate Bill number 175, introduced by Senator Neal, enacts provisions relating to lupus. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in the Senate Assembly, do enact as follows. Section 1 to Section 1.
Thank you. Are there any amendments to the bill?
I have amendment number 179, proposed by Senate Committee on Health and Human Services.
Thank you. Senator Neal.
Thank you. Madam President, I move to dispense with the reading of the amendment.
Thank you. If there are no objections, so ordered. Senator Neal.
I move to adopt the amendment 179 to Senate Bill 175.
Thank you. You have heard the motion. Are there any remarks? Senator Neal.
Amendment 179 to SB 175 deletes provisions requiring the State Board of Health to adopt a fee schedule, and instead makes an appropriation to the Department of Health and Human Services to pay for an employee to support the system for the reporting of information on lupus and its variants.
Thank you. Further remarks? All right. Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying yea. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Are there any further amendments to the bill?
There are none.
Thank you. Senate Bill 175 is ordered reprinted, engrossed into the general file.
Senate Bill number 247, introduced by Senator Darrell Loop, revises provisions relating to apprenticeships. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in the Senate Assembly, do enact as follows. Section 1 to Section 1.
Thank you. Are there any amendments to the bill?
I have amendment number 152, proposed by Senate Committee on Commerce and Labor.
Thank you. Senator Neal.
Thank you. Madam President, I move to dispense with the reading of the amendment.
Thank you. If there are no objections, so ordered. Senator Neal.
I move to adopt Amendment 152 to Senate Bill 247.
Thank you. Heard the motion. Are there any remarks? Senator Neal.
Amendment 152 makes several changes to Senate Bill 247. The amendment clarifies that a proposed apprenticeship program must provide training for the development of skills to allow the apprentice to practice the skilled trade generally rather than for a particular employer. Clarifies that a proposed apprenticeship program must include a schedule of wages which are not less than the minimum wage allowed by the federal or state laws, a collective bargaining agreement, or the minimum apprenticeship wages established by the State Apprentice Council, and clarifies that the council may condition the approval of the proposed program on the payment of compensation to apprentices instead of wages and benefits.
Thank you. Further remarks? All right. Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying yea. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Are there any further amendments to the bill?
There are none.
Thank you. Senate Bill 247 is ordered reprinted, engrossed into the general file.
Senate Bill number 344, introduced by Senator Orangehall, enacts provisions relating to importation, possession, sale, transfer, and breeding of dangerous wild animals. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in the Senate Assembly, do enact as follows. Section 1 to Section 1.
Thank you. Are there any amendments to the bill?
I have amendment number 271, proposed by Senate Committee on Natural Resources.
Thank you. Senator Danyante.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that we dispense with the reading of amendment number 271.
Thank you. If there are no objections, so ordered. Senator Danyante.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the Senate adopt amendment number 271 to Senate Bill 344.
Thank you. You've heard the motion. Are there any remarks? Senator Danyante.
Thank you, Madam President. The amendment makes various changes, including removes a person who is a member, agent, or officer of a society for the prevention of cruelty to animals from the definition for a law enforcement officer, clarifies that the provisions do not apply to a resort hotel or the film industry, provides a holder of a Class C license for exhibitors 90 days to correct certain revocations, suspensions, official warnings or stipulations, consent decrees, or settlements before the holder loses its exemption status, removes the requirement that a person who is transporting illegally possessed dangerous animal through this state provides certain notifications of certain entities at least 72 hours before transporting to legally possessed dangerous wild animal through the state, and deletes the language authorizing the sheriff or metropolitan police department and the animal control authority to change and collect reasonable fees for the application for issuance of and renewal of a registration.
Thank you. Further remarks? All right. Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying yea. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Are there any further amendments to the bill?
There are none.
Thank you. Senate Bill 344 is ordered reprinted, engrossed, and to the general file.
Senate Bill number 371, introduced by Senate Committee on Growth and Infrastructure, revises provisions relating to motor vehicles. The people of the state of Nevada represented in the Senate Assembly do enact as follows, Section 1 to Section 1.
Thank you. Are there any amendments to the bill?
I have amendment number 224, proposed by the Senate Committee on Growth and Infrastructure.
Thank you. Senator Harris.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that we dispense with the reading of the amendment.
Thank you. If there are no objections, so ordered. Senator Harris.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that we adopt Amendment 224 to Senate Bill 371.
Thank you. You've heard the motion. Are there any remarks? Senator Harris.
Thank you again, Madam President. The amendment modifies a reference to insurance companies to be consistent with the references in Section 1 of the bill.
Thank you. Further remarks? All right, hearing none. Here we are, guys. All those in favor signify by saying yay. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Are there any further amendments to the bill?
There are none.
Thank you. Senate Bill 371 is ordered reprinted, engrossed, into the general file. Senator
And that
Brooks.
concludes order of business number 12 on the second agenda.
Oh, okay. We're done with order of business number 12. Senator Brooks.
Order business 9, please.
Order of business 9, motions, resolutions, and notices. Senator Brooks.
Thank you, Madam President. I move to re-refer Senate Bills 55, 69, and 175 to Finance Committee.
Thank you. You have heard the motion. All those in favor signify by saying yay. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you, Senator Brooks.
And that concludes order of business number 9.
Thank you. Order of business number 4, reports of committee.
Madam President, your Committee on Judiciary, to which was referred Senate Bill number 107, has had same under consideration, begs leave to report, same back to recommendation, amended, due pass as amended, signed Senator Melanie Scheibel, Chair. End of reports, and that concludes the business of the desk for this legislative day.
Thank you. Order of business number 16, remarks from the floor. Senator Hammond.
Thank you, Madam President. Just 2 items I just wanted to bring to the attention of the body. On this day, there are several issues that people celebrate, but two of note that I wanted to bring out. One, just so you all know, today is celebrated the International Moment of Laughter. It is the goal of this day is to get people to laugh because laughter is the best medicine. Having said that, today is also celebrated in South Korea, Black Day. Black Day is the third of a 3-legged celebration that occurs, 2 of them in Japan and in South Korea. February 14th, which is Valentine's Day, but the reverse happens in Japan and in South Korea. They actually, women, it's sort of a Sadie Hawkins thing. Women buy men chocolates on February 14th there. And then a month later, to reciprocate, women or men buy women something. It's actually called White Day because the marshmallow company started advertising. I think this goes back to 1937. As far as I understand, that on this day, men buy women white chocolate, white candy, marshmallows, and all their white items of assorted things. And then a month later, on Black Day, if you happen to be single on that day, you wear black, you tote around a black umbrella, and you eat black food, specifically a food that I cannot pronounce, but I don't even try. I will try. It's jjang something or other, and you eat black noodles as a celebration of being single, or maybe not a celebration of being single, but maybe as a consequence of being single. And if you just happen to accidentally wear black, it's noted as being a foreshadowing of things to come. So just wanted to make sure everybody knew that. I may have added the last part. I'm not sure that's actually part of it.
Happy Laughter Day, Senator Hammond. Senator Pickard.
Thank you, Madam President. I wanted to add one to that list. Today is also Be Kind to Lawyers Day. The best way to celebrate is to ensure that the lawyers in your life know how much you appreciate their tireless efforts. Thank you, Madam President.
That's good for laughter, Senator Pickard. Senator Harris. I'm a lawyer, so Senator Harris.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd just like to let the committee members on Senate Growth and Infrastructure know that we will be meeting at 3:50. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Harris. Senator Dondero Loop.
Thank you very much, Madam President. I'd just like to let the members of Government Affairs know that we will be meeting at 3:50 as well.
Thank you, Senator Don Darrell Loop. Further remarks? All right. Senator Cannizzaro.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the Senate stand in adjournment until the hour of 11 a.m. on Thursday, April 15th, 2021.
Thank you. You have heard the motion. All those in favor signify by saying yay. Opposed, nay.
Yay.
Motion carries. See you tomorrow at 11, guys.